So, just like any other town, Longmont is not perfect. Now, that may be a divisive opinion, and if it is, feel free to leave me a comment below. I will read it and reply, I promise. So, I have videos like this one up here, the hidden gems in Longmont. But what about things you could miss in Longmont? Things people tell you to go and do or buy, but maybe you were disappointed afterwards. And be sure to stick around to the end because I have an event you might want to skip in Longmont. Hi, my name is Haley Bartlett and I live, work, and play in Longmont, and I am here to help you find the worst and best of Longmont. So, what things would I skip in Longmont if I was looking for things to do or not do? The Longmont Museum is my first one. Now, I am not saying you should skip this altogether. However, if you are not into history or don't want to compete with little ones running around, especially during the week, then I think Longmont Museum is something you can skip. I have had this in other lists of things to do in Longmont, but I realize this is not for everyone. You might be better off finding something to do outdoors or finding another attraction that is more suited to things you enjoy, like one of the many yummy restaurants or one of the parks you can hang out in. Talking of parks, you might want to skip Sandstone Ranch, especially in the spring and fall. And the reason I list those two times particularly is because these are sports seasons and the park gets packed on the weekends. It takes away from the nature and quiet when you are wrestling for a parking spot or having to share the park with referee whistles and sport teams running around everywhere. You may also want to skip the park if you are looking for a quieter place to relax. Its central location, great playground and splash pad, skate park makes it quite busy at times. However, if you have little ones, then it might be totally fine for you. If you are not a fan of maniac shoppers driving through a maze of parking lots, the crunchier Whole Foods crowd, or chain restaurants, then Village at the Peaks may not be for you. I mean, it is not my favorite place to hang out in Longmont for these reasons alone, although I don't mind some Whole Foods bread and easy meals. But if you aren't a fan of the above things I mentioned, downtown Longmont has more eclectic eating and shop choices. If you do want to visit some of the spots at Village of the Peaks, but without the crowds, then my suggestion is to either go early in the day or go at siesta time. That 2 to 4 p.m. window where people aren't necessarily looking to eat or shop. So, how about that family bonus event you might want to skip? First, if you could like or subscribe, it's going to keep me making these Longmont videos during these cold, dark days that are about to set in. Okay, so my bonus is trick-or-treating in downtown Longmont. Yes, the trick-or-treating that happens after that Halloween parade that I love. We tried this several times when my son was younger, but it was always just a bit of a mess. There was lots of pushing in or, greedy kids trying to grab the candy, and I don't know, it was just basic yuckiness to me. The candy wasn't worth it to us, having a grumpy child and seeing all that go on. And in the end, just having to deal with all that was not worth it. I would look for a smaller event at a school or church or business, unless you just love places like Disney with a long wait for a few bits of candy. I hope these tips were helpful for you to get the most out of Longmont. We really do have some fabulous things here in town. I hope you have a fabulous day, friends, and cheers.